The government law comes in because we want this certificate to be globally recognized. And that's very, very important. And where you have the TVET in the center, there is vocational training, there is industrial training, and we have entrepreneurship, and all this, the technical education, all of it engulfed under TVET. See, there are three things the competence-based education produces. 3 E's: employee who has the necessary skills that are required or competences that are required in the place of work, an entrepreneur who would like to do business, and an employer who can even employ many people. So the 3 E's. What you have done here, what we are doing here, is that stakeholders have come here and we are seeing what CAPIA is doing. That's exactly what it is all about. You involve the people, the employer, the stakeholders that are going to utilize your product. We have what we call demand-driven rather than supply-driven. It's not the way you sit down, someone sat down, I remember the late Professor Neno, they sat down, they gave a bid for 4, and then they said, I think a good kid would need to do building, engineering, electrical, mechanical, fishery, business, what, and the courses, you know, those who can remember, there were many, there were about 18 in primary. Then they could not work. At the end, they were reduced to 13. Then later on to 8. Right now, I don't know, they are about 5. Because, you see, without just sitting one in the house and you come out there, we don't want that. Involve the people, they can tell you what it is, whether that kid you are talking about can be able to absorb all those 18. And at the end, we made the people become completely useless. They were, kama wale wamenyeshewa, you know. Because I remember when I got the first party of the 844 who had come out to university. That time we had the A level as well as Form 4. And in the class you go to 84, you teach, and then you ask any question, everyone is quiet. Now, and you know, the quiet means either they have understood 100% or they have not understood anything. The whole thing is they have not understood anything. And I remember the late Professor Swani was interpreting that, you know, these are disciplined. No, they were not disciplined. They were menyeshewa. And that was the whole issue. So that is not good. We need you to be involved in what KPA is doing, so that you say, yes, this is what we want. Then we provide increased training opportunity for the increasing number of school leavers. Now, this is again where TVET comes in. TVET, unlike the ordinary one, which we know, let's say course takes 2 years. We are talking 2 years continuous. That's not what we want. We know it takes 2 years in terms of what you can call credits. But we break down into modules so that someone will say, well, with this beekeeping, me, if I can do beehive, I'm okay, because can do beehive, can make them and sell. And that's a skill. That is very, very important for economy. The most other important thing is that we don't want to deny skills to the people who went to school. No, you never went to school. There is the Muse here. He wanted to learn. We need him to be given the skill. So, in other words, this debate is for everyone. Those who went to school, those who didn't go to school. Non-formal education, those who are informal. By the way, where I stay, you look for a plumber, a good one you can't get. The good ones are 100% working from 10 to midnight. And they remember, getting skills for plumbing is very easiest. But in fact, they are here so late. Even the carpenters are not there. Even the electricians are not there. And this is funny now. In fact, agricultural skills, do you know they are short supply? And yet we have very many young people walking around without jobs. And we have a lot of land. 3/4 of our land is just empty. There's nobody doing anything on it. That means we have a lot of resources which are not picked up because we don't have the right skills. There are people educated, yes, but do they have the skills that we require? No, and that's why. And when someone has got the right skill, that he or she has got the confidence and can do the work very clearly. But unfortunately, because some of our youths don't have the right skills, they have education, have a diploma, a degree, but they are not confident. You tell him someone's done engineering, what is wrong with that vehicle? And say, no, me, I'm not a mechanic. He will say, that's the first thing he'll tell you. I'm not a mechanic. Then why did you do engineering? When you go to a doctor, who actually holds the knife and cuts dissect the person? Is it the nurse or the clinical or the doctor? It's the doctor who cuts. This is also why not the engineer to be the one to dismantle the engine and the mechanic is to bring the spanners for. Unfortunately, we don't have that, and that's where we go wrong. And that's so you end up with our engineers becoming senior clerical officers in the industry. Senior clerical officers, and it's unfortunate. They don't have the right skills, and this is the problem. And because of that, they become rude. Rudeness is a way of trying to punish yourself. You are suffering from complex, superiority and inferiority complex. But you find someone with the right skills. What happens? Very polite, down to earth, can do the job. And that's why you can differentiate the person. Now, all these problems, what do they mean? All these lead to wastage and unemployment. You have trained people, but they are unemployed. We have wasted money, we have spent a lot of money, but that means it's a waste. Now, what was the action? And this is what the action was, which I've already mentioned. We shifted from supply-led training to demand-driven. And then we shift from time-bound, curriculum-based training to modular and flexible competence-based training. So you don't have to stay for 2 years to do exam to have certificate. How many people have finished Form 4 and they have failed? Have they failed? We are not here. Do they have anything? So we don't want. They have something, and they must utilize that. That's what we want. Rebrand. Now, what are the guiding principles from the TVET? What guided the form is we wanted relevance to the labor market, not creating people who are not relevant. Then access for trainees, quality of TVET delivery, standardization. We want to be standardized. The training must be standardized. Not we say that you go 2 weeks here, you get a diploma, another place 3 years, you get a diploma. And all of them are automotive, diploma in automotive. Now someone can't even make it, who is you? So we want to standardize that. And when you standardize, then you are globally recognized. Then inclusion of soft skills. Remember, these are very important. Soft skills previously have not been included. We want sustainable TVET funding. We don't want funding which will come just against that. We want to even the technical TVET institutions to start even generating funds. We want industry to be involved. We want employers to be involved in funding this. We want the counties to come in and fund. This model that I was mentioning, the model you have proposed here, this is the perfect model to be actually implemented by counties. And we wanted to work out with Professor Ora to see that these counties implement it. What we need maybe is to work out this program and see even how much money it will require for maybe 2 to 3 counties, 2 to 3 youth centers per county in the beginning of 1 to 2 years, so that they can use that as a showcase for donors to come and see where they are reached, and they can get funding. They have very many funding, but you see, some people when you present this, they want first to find how much will it be. It may not be a lot, but they want to know. And this is exactly which it can sustain this model. And these are the institutions which are in place to govern this sector. In this right hand, the Director of Technical Education is the policy. This is the one making the policy for the government, because anything you do to implement must be according to the policy from the government. The session of paper number 12 of 2012, that's a policy which repealed capital Education Act Cap 211 and created the other 4 acts as I mentioned. Council and then tell you these are the functions that I'm involved in. Undertake design and development of curriculum, then issue certificates to the country survey, make rules with respect to that, promote recognition of its qualification in foreign. You see this in number one, promote recognition of its qualification in foreign system. What does that mean? It means whatever you have must be globally be recognized, and that's what we are talking about. And of course, this brings in now the act we are talking about in Parliament, where people are registered and recognized. Then promote and carry out research relating to this, promote publication of books and material of that. And then the other one of the major functions of the assigned to the TVET, see that is the implementation of CPET framework, which I mentioned. We actually, the council is the one which has played the role of implementing the CPET framework in Kenya. When during implementation, we must involve all stakeholders. Unlike what has been going on, we must involve all the stakeholders. Now, the other functions are these: to be able to enable the training institution to make either curriculum or assess, then we are supposed to develop some manuals to be followed. Curriculum development and review manual, curriculum validation process, assessment and review process, and so forth. And we are supposed to validate the competency curriculum and also keep a register of curriculum developers, assessors, verifiers, and all the people like the sector skills advisory committee members. The CPET target. You see, whom are you targeting? Because that's what I mentioned already. The CPET is aimed at achieving national and international recognition for qualification, knowledge, skills, and attitude of Kenyans, so that increasingly globalized and competitive world, this will enhance the mobility of Kenyan workers nationally and internationally. As you say, you can work anywhere else with a qualification. CPET is a very flexible system as we wrote, and it involves the following targets. Go to the next. These are the targets, as I said. Now they are educated, the people who have never been in school, people from formal sector, people from informal sector, people out of youth. All of them, everyone is included. Now, what are the benefits? These are the benefits, as I said, which I'll mention all these benefits I've already mentioned as I was going through. And then there is the RPL, which I've also mentioned, recognition of prior learning. You must have done, like the youth, you know, this Chuakari. They have a lot of experience. They can come, they apply, then they are assessed, they are given the relevant qualification. I mean, you can see how the kids and all the people who are involved all around it. And then challenges facing the CPET in Kenya, there are challenges. And I'm sure you must have seen it. The challenges are many. Lack of enough skilled CPET trainers in the country. Most of the material and equipment are obsolete, outdated, and they are there. Well, they lack money, lack of enough funds to finance TVET activity, and to measure the quality of the training. You know, we need to measure it. How do we know it's CPET? That's the primary measurement. So you need a lot of money. Now, the qualifications, we have got qualification levels. These are the levels which we are entitled. It's level 1 up to level 7. Level 1, if for those who are acquitted with the trade test, I'm sure most of you know about trade test. There's the trade test grade 3, grade 2, and grade 1. So those are actual certificates. The only thing that the trade tests are missing is the knowledge. So they are on to improve on it so that they will get certificate 1, certificate level 1, level 2, and level 3. Then level 4 is what you call now crafts. You know, there's a craft course. This is what it is. And then level 5 is what you call diploma. And then level 6 is a higher diploma. And level 7 is a degree. The person can ask a question later on.
So thank you. Now, we are moving on to the questions and answer session. And just as a prelude to this, I think it's important for us just to know those we have in this room. And therefore, for those of us with questions, we will then decide who best to to answer a particular question that you have. Now, in this room, we have the chairperson, TVET, the professor, Ogola himself. We have the chairperson, Sidak, who just spoke to us. In this room, we also have the executive committee member for Kilifi County, representing education and youth, Salma. We have county directors, youth training. We have principals, directors, deputy principals, managers, youth polytechnics. And of course, we also have the entire KPA team here with us. Okay. So I'm going to invite those of us with questions to direct them. I think the target of your question, you will decide.
I have one or two questions. Just I'll put them very fast and I'll direct them to either our director or the presenter who has just gone. I look at Kenya in one way, that sometimes we have a big problem of what we call benchmarking. We tend to benchmark with some countries which are so much ahead of us. Anytime we hear that we are going for any form of benchmarking, USA, Britain, and so on. And yet much has been spoken about South Korea, Thailand, Malaysia. And the other problem about now, when we go for benchmarking with those countries, it becomes like a lift, air lift, like the Tomboas, if I can remember. Now, it doesn't trickle to the ground when these opportunities come. And the other thing, about benchmarking, I think we need to take some of our trainees and get some trainees from some of these countries to be coming here. I know it will be far much cheaper and it will be very fast even to implement it. That's my first reaction. The last one is he has mentioned something very important about our certificate recognition this internationally. And I have one big problem. When people are getting the green cards, maybe one time, sometimes mid-90s, I was almost going mad. I wanted to go to USA. Until with the time, because of one or two things, made me just retreat and forget about going there. And I decided to remain here. The first thing is when I hear a doctor, a very good doctor from a referral hospital going there, the fact that he's given the job is not worth what he's doing here. It's as if our certificate are not recognized there. You find people go for training. I know of a radiotherapy and therapists who left us here, and I understand they had to do the training. I think I'll say kudos as you try to come up with something which is recognized in TVET. Maybe for the others, you look for that. Thank you very much. And before I finish, although I never came with the blessings of the principal, we are usually a very welcoming institution. I know we have the youth polytechnics here. I've been moving as a solo. The other day, actually it was Wednesday, I went to a directly polytechnic just to have a talk with their students. I'm welcoming any institution or whatever caliber. RVJ is open, not only to Kenyans, but to East Africa.
Most, if you look at these levels, the way I put it there, these are actually most countries in the world, those are the ones they have. And that's the beauty of globalizing. That competency, it's a level, you are talking of level 1, you go to other countries, it's the same. There is a small variation here and there, but mostly they are the same. And the certificate you get, therefore, will be recognized as such. Most of our actually the national, what you call qualification framework, we have tried to marry what is in South Africa, what is which is near us, and what is South Korea and Malaysia, because those one have implemented. And also we have also tried to compare with the German, which is very much advanced, but you will find it's just the same. So it is not. The other question you were saying is?
It was benchmarking and about certificate recognition. Thank you.
Certificate of recognition.
Recognition of certificates.
And we need to equate them. That one is the role of the authority. What we are supposed to do is, for example, you have a qualification which is maybe non-technical, I mentioned it, and you want a CPET qualification. So that one we will go and assess you just like recognition for prior learning, and then you get it.
We need to recognize the various certificates that we have, and that is why we are going for standardization. And I was trying to share with some of your colleagues last evening, and what we have in mind is a situation where we have grossly in the past marginalized the vocational training centers. It is illegal to call them youth polytechnics. And actually you can be behind bars to call them youth polytechnics. They are called, according to the TVET Act, they are called vocational training centers. So please take care, because when my compliance officers will be walking around and they find you talking of YP, you may end up on the wrong side of the law. Duly noted. Yeah, but I was trying to say that if you look at the ratio of scientists to technologists, technicians to artisans, you will notice that we need 60 artisans for 12 technicians to 3 technologists and to 1 scientist, to serve 1 scientist. To that effect, we are thinking that probably I'll talk to Mr. Karno. I'm happy to know that you are here as a representative of RBDTI to see if the vocational training centers can be members of the Kenya Association of Technical Training Institutions. And to this effect, they normally have annual conferences where you can be able to exchange knowledge and be able to learn from best practices. Also, I am encouraging you to be members of Commonwealth Association of Polytechnics in Africa, which normally they have biannual conferences in a number of countries in Africa. And in this way, you can be able to know what Ghana is doing, what Sierra Leone is doing, what Zambia is doing. I think last week they were in Zambia. I don't know where they have decided to go, probably November, December of this year. But this could be some basic efforts you can be able to make to benchmark so that you bring in some new technology in the country, which will be able to see us realizing Vision 2030. I will leave it at that for now, but I'm doing press up for you for tomorrow, God willing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Brother Ogola, Mr. Ogola, Odie. Number one, we are very good in conference as Kenyans. Your statements were that China and the other countries took from us, and they're where they are. We are still here. What assurance do we have that even what we are discussing will be stolen? And others move, yet we are still making benchmarking. So my question is this, Bwana Ndugu Daktari, had it not for CAP coming with this concept, where will you be as a country? Are we copying, or we are developing our own programs? And there are so many chapters and acts, name them, yet we don't have plumbers. As we keep on making chapters and acts and what have you, and the parliament making and education meeting, there are no more stories. What are we doing as Kenyans? It pains me as a participant in this forum. I believe, and I want to say, I have respect to the government, but to some extent, they give us a raw deal. It is up to now, you are proposing we form a cluster as youth polytechnics now, 2015. Yet teachers meet in Mombasa, Eldoret, every time. Still, madam, and you chart your destiny, but for youth polytechnics or vocational training centers, we are nowhere. But can we say now we are moving the right track so that we can be able to offer you, because we are on the ground. You are in Nairobi, in offices, doing things. The person on the ground is not involved. Until when? The time is right for us to stand up and say, this is the way forward. So thank you, CAP, for making us wake up. But I'm sure we shall not sleep again from this conference and go home and say, let us wait again for another parliament to approve the bill. It's so sad that on the ground, the current constitution defines education in the county as ECD and vocational training. But in most cases, we just hear ECDs. Youth vocational training centers are not there. Madam, I think you're here for the CSCs. So we need to understand. You have very nice words, jargons, which you don't understand. So if the manager is not understanding, what of the trainee? So my friends, brothers and sisters, as a pastor I say, enough is enough. Boardroom meetings are enough for us. Can we move and go to the trainees and we become a country like the other countries? May God bless us.
Thank you, Mr. Kashuru.
As a manager, I would want to get some clarification from Professor, because we are in the process of registering vocational training centers with the TVET authority, and many of our youth polytechnics, their board of management expired. Now my question is that when we are constituting the new board of management, do we use the Education Act 2013 or do we use the TVET Act? And then I will want to know the communication of the TVET authority office with the county government. Because like now, we are in the process of registering this polytechnic with the TVET authority, and sometimes if you engage the county government, they say, no, this is why these are devolved, these are ours, this is a TVET thing, what is it? So they are really giving us hard time to explain the reason as why we are registered with the TVET.
For a vocational training center, my question goes directly to the chairman of TVET and also the chairman of SIDAC. I've been in the field for almost 7 years now. That is, I'm an instructor in electrical and electronics. And I'm talking here on behalf of very many other instructors. Because as he is saying about the polytechnics, let us talk about the polytechnics now, because they are called. We have instructors who have been there for years, 15 years, 20 years, who are grade 3, grade 2 instructors. And they are very productive. As the manager can assure that to you, we have very good instructors. But now, we are being told to forward our portfolios to TVET, and some of us are wondering, how will we forward our papers? Because there are others who have diplomas, there are others who have certificates, others are grade tests. Now they are fearing, if I send my papers to TVET with grade 2, as an instructor, we have our superiors. Mr. Kimei, who is the county director here in Boston Gisho, has been with us in Kakamega as the deputy director. And there are people who are in the stream, in the ministry. Like before we were in the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. And you could see those people who are on top, who are not technically oriented. We have people who are above us, who are CRE teachers, coming from the TSC, into the technical institutions, and when you explain something technical, he or she doesn't understand anything. And that person is supposed to lead you. Because I know what I'm supposed to do in electrical, he or she doesn't know. Because he is or she is a CRA teacher. So what will you do to make sure that from top to the bottom, all those people will be technical oriented, so that even if we're talking about those plumbers, when we're talking about those people who are in the catering department, that the person who is on top and the person who is on the bottom are talking the same thing. Not one is talking about education in class throughout, another one is talking about practical, and so another one is about sports.
Okay.
The last one, we the polytechnics have sports, but we have sports maybe to the county level, and then it stops. We see secondary schools going up to East Africa, games, you don't. Even nationals don't hold nationals. So you want to ask a question. Will the TVET incorporate all those things so that even those who are in those vocational centers will see the benefits of being there? Thank you.
For a very long time, if I can go to what you said, we have had some plans which, as I said, which have never been implemented, but other countries implemented them. The problem we have had, let me tell, and I know there are some people, I know you are here, is the people who have actually graduated from University of Nairobi. This has been a very great problem. But the fact that we have, right now we have open society. The society has been opened up. And what has been happening is that, like, TVET was never recognized. And that's why you end up having no plumbers, for example, because people don't want to go there. They would rather do history and I would be recognized somewhere. I would rather that, but that's why I said we are rebranding. This rebranding is to now turn things around so that the TVET section will be a section of choice. You choose it rather than going the other way. Because the problem we have had, you know, I found someone else when I talked of something that we were discussing, then he was asking me, which house were you? And I asked, what do you mean by house? Yeah, I mean alliance. You see, prejudice. There's something called prejudice. You see, to him, anybody who knows something must have come from where? Alliance. The same thing happens when you say, you know, I have a degree. Which universities are multimedia? Where university? Is that in Uganda? And he knows it's in Kenya. But because the university knows it's universal. That prejudice is the one which has made us the way we are. We don't want to recognize that you find someone is in University of Nairobi, he doesn't want to know there is a Rift Valley Training Institute, doesn't want to know there is a Dora Polytechnic, doesn't know. That is where the problem is. And I think we are going up. Luckily now, I have gone through TVET. To tell you, I've gone through TVET up to PhD level. Professor Gora has also done the same, has gone to that. So the people who are managing right now is that, and the Director General of TVET is Dr. Anat, who also went through TVET. So at least we have people, the relevant people. Previously, TVET was being managed by people finished from University of Nairobi, and they never wanted to make it to grow. Thank you.
I'm sitting near my mwalimu, so I have to be careful with my words. But he also has to be careful with his words because we reciprocated. I would like to tell you that I keep carrying the TVET Act 2013 with me. It's my Bible, so I keep referring to it from time to time. It is now accompanied by another document, which is called Mwongozo. This is Executive Order number 7. In the last 2 months, we have received 2 executive orders. One executive order number 6. And then this is the latest one, which we received early this week. I gave it to my board members on Tuesday when we had a full board meeting. I have extended the same to TVET SIDAC, who work under TVET Authority, and we are in the process of instituting or putting in place the TVET fund. I think at the moment the selection process is going on because the selection panel is already in place. Basically, these questions are answered with these two documents I have. One, in section 28(1)(a) of this act, it spells out how we relate with the county governments. We are not in conflict, but we are working together as a team for purposes of realizing Vision 2030. But the TVET Authority will come in to make sure that there is some percentage of conformity such that a student trained in a vocational training center in Kilifi will get the same dose as a student trained in VTC in Busia, Migori, Garissa, and any other part of this country. So standardization is paramount. And this standardization will help us to have quality assurance in such that your graduate will be recognized not just nationally, but regionally and internationally, which is the spirit of TVET Act. We have 19 functions, but if you look at section 7 of this authority, it spells out 19 functions the authority has to take charge of. Specifically, 7N says that the authority will partner and work together with the county governance for purposes of quality assurance. The trainers in these institutions must be people of relevance and substance to the expectations of the national development expectations, the regional and global expectations. Because if we have our graduates whom we want to compete globally, then they must have some global setups in a way that they have to be recognized with such bodies like Washington Accord, Dublin Accord, and the Sydney Accord. So it is important for the county governance to understand that they own the institutions, but we work in partnership with them for purposes of compliance, for purposes of making sure that the graduates are not disadvantaged in any way. Yes, you were asked as part of the registration process to let us know who are in those vocational training centers. The reason being, it's going to help us to know where we have shortfalls. It's going to help us to know who among those instructors or trainers for that matter are people who can be improved on. That means they can be taken for training for purposes of improving their skills in terms of delivery. So there is no ill intention with that process. So for you to be in that kind of setup, you must have the knowledge required. And 2 weeks ago, to be exact, Monday of the other week, I made an appointment with the CEO of TSC, the outgoing TSC Secretary, Mr. Gabriel Olengoboini, and part of our discussion was on this issue of human capacity in terms of teacher training capacity, trainer capacity. It is coming out that research has shown that the people we have in the TVET sector as trainers, most of them are on their way out in terms of age. And if we don't make any deliberate effort, possibilities are there that all this effort the government is putting, the national government is putting in place, will go to waste. We have advised the government as follows, that there must be deliberate effort to take some of the youth who have already trained at diploma, Bachelor of Technology, Bachelor of Philosophy, and Master of Technology and Doctor of Technology levels to be trained on pedagogical skills and industrial skills, now to take up some of these responsibilities. It is in the interest of the government, and more so the Ministry of Education, that we are not keen to appoint leadership in the TVET sector for people who are not in the TVET setup, who probably, or if you are a county director, who probably does not have the technical skills. I'm sorry for you, but it doesn't mean you will lose your job. You will be taken to where you belong. It's the stand of the authority, that is the stand of the government, and we have written to Gabriel to that effect. Teachers, lecturers, as principals, and we found that it was not matching to our expectation, because if somebody has a first degree in Kiswahili or religious knowledge, it's not bad to have those kinds of degrees. But when we put you to head an institution like that, we are overstressing you for nothing. Let us get people who have the relevant skills. Sports, it is true, if you have only been going to county levels, that has been extremely an anomaly. And if you only go up to county level, you are likely not to help us to identify the youth talents which can be of national interest. So if you manage to join the CATI, which Mr. Tarno is the chair, it's just across the fence. If you manage to join CATI, you'll also be in a position to join their sports setup, which they normally do amongst the technical training institutions. I am aware this year it is going to be held in Eldoret National Polytechnic. So thank you very much. I don't know if I've taken too long, but I'm sorry about it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Professor, for the very good answers you've given. I'm going to ask all of us to take a break at this point for lunch. I know I saw quite a number of hands. People still have a lot of questions to ask. We are still here. We have the entire afternoon. We are still here tomorrow. Okay? You get time to ask your question.
We are not breaking for lunch. We want you to bless us in a special way so that we may continue serving you in this very institution. For this we pray in Jesus' name.
Whether 2 or 3 minutes extra. Now, youth enterprise is what we normally do. we normally do capacity building to our fellow youth at the grassroots level. We also do empowerment through financial empowerment or education empowerment. Financial empowerment, we do offer loans, and we have categories of loans. These loans are advanced to the both youth-based or individual. For the groups, we normally, the smallest amount in normal advance to the groups is 50,000. Yeah, and a group can gauge for the first time up to 200, depending with the capacity. For the individual, we do have different products targeting individual. We have products targeting agriculture and the best business that the youth normally do. For agriculture, we have hatcheries that target poultry farmers, greenhouses, for those who can manage. We have a product that targets the entrepreneurs. Maximum amount they borrow is 2 million. And this 2 million, that's the maximum. Minimum is 100. Interest is only 8%. So as we also engage our fellow youth, you can refer them to us. They can come to offices for further information. For those who in music industry, we have a product called Tech 254. Interest 8%, but they can borrow up to 25 million. Interest is 8%. Apply, they can come to us, we can advise them, we can guide them accordingly. We have what we call LPO or LSO financing or bid bond financing. For bid bond, maximum is 2 million. LPO, maximum is 20 million. Interest as little as 1.5%. Yeah? For LSO and LPO terms as the same. So you can find at Youth Fund, we have various products that targets at least each and every youth can suit in our product line. So we welcome you on board as partners. As we also partner with CAP, we normally also, in our engagement with CAP, that's the main objective with the youth at the CAP centers. Since 2013 is when we first engaged with CAP. It was in December 19th. Yeah, that's the first time we engaged with CAP. And since that time, we've been at least helping one another in youth mobilization at the CAP centers. We've been doing helping in the recruitment process and training of those particular youth. At least we schedule in our schedule also we plan with them. We go around doing our stuff, as in loan recovery, trainings and recruitment. We also sell CAP. That enables the committee now to know all about or what about CAP. That we normally tailor, as in guide those particular youth, come up with formidable groups, they register them, so that they can be enabled to start something like business. Each and every, the former regions, the former region blocks, we have offices that manages counties in those regions and the sub-counties in those regions. So we are covered. Each and every place we are there. So we welcome all of you.
Joshua, YADEF has been a partner and has worked with the CAP all the way when it comes to trying to empower you to access finance. Now, next I'm going to invite Madam Hilda.
The lecturers, all protocols observed. My name is Hilda Kibiwat. I'm a hotel manager, Hotel Horizon. I have known CAP for quite a while, not so long. 2013 to be precise. They've been my friends. We've been business partners. We have supported their students in internship. We've even employed about 3 of them. I'm so grateful because they are the best. They are the most disciplined when you look at discipline cases in the hospitality industry. Personally, I've been in the industry for over 20 years. Well, a little bit of the industry, I started off in Hotel Intercontinental. I think I was as young as the students. I was 21 years old. I've been there for like 15 years, and I've moved on until here. I have a long history in the industry, and I really appreciate hospitality. I don't know if they're in here. I wish they could hear that for me, it's the best industry. I really appreciate again CAP for many things they've done to us. I'll specifically talk about the groundnut sauce. I always come to these forums to buy groundnut sauce. They do the best. I've tried the supermarket one, and this one, it is awesome. So I'm really proud to be associated with CAP. And on behalf of my directors, we have hosted them from Hotel Comfy, and now we are in Hotel Horizon. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you also for the food. I really appreciate it. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Hilda, for the positive feedback we get from such employers and partners. A big round of applause to Joshua and now, next in the program, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, who is going to take us through the program.
Hello, everyone. Today, what I wanted us to do is, being a trainer, let's hear from the trainees. And the good thing is that we have people who have benefited out of the CAP-A training through capacity building from various YP. And when I was coming, I have few who said, teacher will go with you. So I have some of the beneficiaries or youth polytechnic, or we were told to call them vocational training centers, representatives. They are here with us, and they will just call them to come and share their experience. What have they learned out of our trainings? Okay? So, yes, we only have 4, because we have 4 regions, and each region is represented by 1. So I will start from, yes, Central Region. We have Simon.
I happen to be one of those people who benefited with the CAP capacity building. And, I've sampled some of them here, and I have attended 2 of the CAP-based model training, and I've found them to be very exciting, and I became very interested. And one or the 2 forums that I've attended, one of them was dealing with retainers of trainees in youth polytechnic, and the other one was about life skills. And I remember when we were during this second one, I made a promise to Susan and Isaac that I've not been teaching life skills before, but because of what they took us through, I said, or I told them that I'll start teaching life skills. And that is what I did. I found out that the best modern program has enabled me to introduce a new way of teaching life skills in our YP. And I acquired this, or this was possible to work with. It has also enabled me realize that you cannot teach without planning, because when you do that, it blocks you from getting the desired results, the results that you want to get, because in the first place you've not said anything at the first, so meaning you don't have focus and you don't have any results that you are looking for. So I realized that I have to plan my lessons, I have to plan my instructions in order for me to have a focus, in order for me to have a destination, and then after that I came up with a clear pathway on how I will reach on my focused goals. And with that I've been involving parents, adults, stakeholders, trainees themselves, and my colleagues to enable or to ensure that I've realized the forecast goals for my training. And with that, I also acquired other new training methods, and these ones have been helping me to capture the trainees that have been teaching well, because I've realized that there are three groups of people, three groups of trainees based on how they get what we give them. First of one of it is through listening. We know there are those trainees who will get what you're giving them by hearing what you are telling them. And with that, I've been giving them case studies so that at least they can capture the information or the whatever I'm giving them well. Then another style of teaching that I acquired when we were going through the program, I also found out that there are those who learn by touching, by being participating in activities that you are doing. And with that, I've been involving them into making the case studies a parade, and then making them participate in those in that parade, so that at least they can get exactly what I'm giving them. With what I've been given by KPA, this is benefit to me as individual, but at the same time, the institution is benefiting out of me. So CAP has given me something that has been has added value to me, and I've become more useful to my institution. So thank you very much, and asante sana for listening to me.
Simon is from Muranga, and the case study he has just shared with us, that experience, is what is happening in even other institutions in the region. Nyanza region, we have Katito Vocational Center.
Okay, I'm very thankful that we have had a very cordial working relationship with the PA to demonstrate that young people are solutions, not a problem to Kenyan economy and social development, by utilizing opportunities available for employment, entrepreneurship, and positive social engagement. And this is the business that we as YP, we concur with KPA. Basically, youth polytechnics, we do technical training, and we do certification also. We do it at trade test level, grade 3, 2, and 1. And then also we do NAVSET, that is National Vocational Certificate in Education and Training, which is done in level 1. And in level 1, we have got the trade theory, and then the practical theory, and then we have got general education. Under general education, we teach them life skill, we teach them technical drawing, entrepreneurship, ICT, and then communication skills, and then they are tested on. And then they are certified, and then they qualify to get a certificate at level 1. And then at level 2, they will also do the trade theory,